In this session, we will discuss all about JavaScript operators with practical examples. Here we also discuss operator precedence with associativity. I am sure this tutorial will help you to thorough JavaScript operators. So please watch till the end of the video. Hi all, welcome to the complete JavaScript beginners tutorial by CodAffection. Let's start with a variable declaration. So here we have the variable name. Let's initialize that here. If you look at various parts of this declaration statement, we have talked about variables and rules for naming them. After that, we have discussed how to use keywords, let, for, and cons for creating variables. In last session, we have covered data types of variables based on the assigned value to it. Now, what is remaining here? This assignment operator, right? So that's what we are going to discuss in this session. Operators in JavaScript. Before getting into various operators, let's get familiar with these terminologies, operator and operand. For that, consider the following code snippet. So here we have the variable sum. Into it, I will save the result of this addition operation here. Let me create one more variable, type of sum. Into this variable, I will save the data type of this variable sum. For that, we could use this operator, type of, that we have learned in previous session. So type of sum. So in this statement, here we have the operator, which is the addition, which add these two numbers 4 and 6. So here we have the operator. And in this statement, here we have the operator type of, which will find the data type of this variable here. So type of is another operator. So operator is something that specifies an action or operation to perform. And these values or variable on which the operation is performed is called as operand. Hope you understood these terminologies, operator and operand. This is an operator, this is another operator. Sum is an operand for this type of operator, and for this addition operation here, these values 4 and 6 are operand. Now here we have the broad categorization of JavaScript operators. As always, I will be discussing each of these operators in a different order than from this listed order here. First of all, let's start with arithmetic operators. For that, first of all, let me declare three variables, a, which is initialized with 4, and then b with value 2, and finally result variable, and which is having the value 0. Into this result variable, we will be saving the result of the operations that we are going to perform here. Obviously, we all know how these basic arithmetic operators works. So it would be easy to discuss them here. First of all, we have the addition operation, and the result is saved into this variable. Now let me log this variable into the developer console. So result. So 4 plus 2, which is 6. So here it is. So these variables a and b are the operand for this operator plus or addition. Now we have subtraction, 4 minus 2, which is 2. Then we have multiplication, 4 into 2, which is 8. And then we have division, 4 divided by 2, which is 2 again. So that's the basic for arithmetic operators. Now I will replace this 4 with 3. Now 3 divided by 2, which gives 1.5. Since we have a fraction here, 3 is not completely divisible by 2. When 3 is divided by 2, there is a remainder 1. When we divide 5 by 2, there is a remainder 1. When we divide 5 with 3, there is a remainder 2, which means we can only have 1 3 within this 5, and there is 2 remaining. So in order to find that remainder after division, we can have this modulus operator. So here we have the symbol for remainder operator. So it gives the remainder after the division operation between a and b. So this is the remainder 2 after the operation a divided by b. So that's the modulus operator. Now we have exponent operator. So it looks like this, 2 asterisk marks. So mathematically 5 to the power 3, or in other words 5 cube, which is equal to 125. Now let's replace this 3 with 2, so which is 5 raised to 2. So this operation becomes 5 square, which gives this value 25. Now we'll be discussing rest of the arithmetic operators in a bit. Before that, let's talk about what is an expression and difference between expression and statement. In one of our previous sessions, we have already talked about what is a statement. Statement is a complete set of instructions to perform a particular action, while an expression is a unit of code that can be evaluated to a value. Let's check that with this example here. This first line is a statement because it does something that is creating these variables a, b and result. And this is another statement which is saving the operation result into this variable result variable. This is another statement which print the value of this result variable into the dev console here. Now expression is something that can be evaluated to a value. For initializing these variables, we are passing the fixed or literal values 5, 2, 0. They are also an expression because they gives a value. This is another expression. This is an expression because it can be evaluated to a value. Now into this console log function also we are passing an expression result. It is also an expression which contains the value 25. So expression is something that can be evaluated to a value, while a statement does something or some action like variable declaration, printing a message to dev console, etc. So from now onwards, I hope you can differentiate these terminologies, expression and statement. These terminologies are important while learning a programming language. You will be hearing them over and over again. So don't take it lightly. In certain contexts or places in our programs, it expects an expression, means a value. In those places, we can't pass a statement. For example, in case of this console log statement, as you know, this function prints a value into developer console. So we have to pass a value within this pair of parentheses, that is an expression. We can't pass an expression here like declaring a variable like this. We have to pass a value like this. Here we are assigning a value into this variable result. Here also we can only pass an expression that can be evaluated to a value. We can't pass like declaring a variable here. So hope you understood the concept. Now let's move on with rest of the operators. Let's talk about normal assignment operator. We have been using them for initializing and assigning a value to a variable. So no more explanation needed for this assignment operator. So it will just evaluate the right hand side expression. As I mentioned, I will be using the word expression from now onwards. So an assignment operator evaluates the right hand side expression and the value will be assigned to the left hand side variable here. Same in case of this initialization also. These simple expressions are assigned to the corresponding variables while declaring them. Now consider the following code snippets here. Here, the immediate or adjacent variables on both sides of this assignment are same. In this context, JavaScript has shorthand operators. They are called as compound assignment operators. Instead of this elaborated line of code, when we have same variables on both sides of this assignment operator, we could do this. This is it. So it is similar to writing A is equal to A plus B. So this is a shorthand operator for this operation here. And this operator is called as addition assignment operator. Now let me copy this. We have the shorthand operator like this. Here the operator is called as subtraction assignment. And here we have multiplication assignment. And here we have division assignment. So in order to use these compound assignment operators, the immediate or adjacent operators on both sides of this assignment must be same. In order to write a compound assignment operator like this, B, addition assignment, A, the actual operation would be something like this. B is equal to B plus A. So here also the adjacent or immediate operators on both sides of the assignment are same, which is B. So we could use this addition assignment syntax. So hope you understood how this compound assignment works. So these compound assignment operators gives a shortcut for writing the code for these patterns of operations. So that's all about compound assignment operators regarding arithmetic operators. There are a few other compound assignment operators also. We will discuss that after logical operators. Now let me get rid of these statements from here. Now let's discuss increment and decrement operators. These are also a kind of shorthand syntax. Imagine an application where a counter is involved. Most of the time, we may have to increment the score or counter as follows. In these types of application, we'll be having a variable like score. It is having this value 0. In an application with a counter involved, we frequently need to increment the counter by 1 like this. the exact reverse operation would be happening in an application involving countdown operation. For example, we are dealing with a countdown seconds for a shopping deal. So we have this variable seconds left. Let it be 5 minutes. So 5 into 60, we have 30 seconds. After each seconds, we have to decrement this counter by 1. So we will do the operation like this. In various stages of the application development, you will be seeing an operation involving increment or decrement by 1 unit. For these situations, JavaScript already have a shorthand syntax. It looks like this. So here we have the increment operator, and here we have the decrement operator. Now let me comment these previous operations here. Now let's print these variables score. Let me copy this and pasting here for seconds left. Initially, score is having this value 0. After this statement here, it is incremented by 1. So that's what we can see inside this developer console here. With this short syntax, we don't even need an assignment operator. It will increment the value inside it. It will assign the incremented value into the variable. Same in case of this decrement operator also. Initially we have 300 and it is decremented by 1. Now there is one more way to increment this counter here. So it looks like this, score. So with this statement we have incremented 0 to 1, then incremented to 2. That's what we can see here. Same in case of this decrement operator also. Here we again decremented the number to 298. So this is what we call post increment. And this is pre-increment. So here we have post-decrement. This is pre-increment. Independent of the place of the operator, the increment operation is working as it should. Then what is the difference in doing this? In order to find the difference, you have to assign the result to a variable. So I will declare a new variable, result. Let's initialize that with 0. And let's assign this value to result. Either way the value will be incremented. Now we don't want to check the value of score. Instead, let's check the value of result. So I will just print the value of result. We have already seen after this operation here, the value inside the score will be incremented. Even though the value inside the result is same as before, it is 0. Why is that so? So that's the difference. This post-increment operator returns the value of score before incrementing the value. So 0 is returned to this result and then incremented its value to 1. You might have confused before this operation also inside this variable we are having 0. So in order to avoid the confusion, I will change the value of score to something 5. Now see, the value of score is assigned to this result and then the increment operation is done. If you check the value of score, it will be 7 because we have done 2 increment operations here. So let's check that also. See, here we have the value 7. Here it is incremented to 6, then 7. Now let me cut this assignment. Now let's paste that for this pre-increment operation here. Let me comment this line here. So initially score is having the value 5. After this operation, result is having the value 6 because this pre-increment operation returns the value after incrementing the value. First of all, it will increment the value to 6 and then return the value to result. So between these operators, post and pre-increment, in post-increment it returns the value first and then the increment operation. Here it will do the increment operation first and it will return the value. So that's the difference between post-increment and pre-increment. So this is pre-decrement. And same thing happens in case of this post-decrement and pre-decrement operations. Here it returns the value first and then the decrement operation. In case of pre-decrement, decrement the value first and then return the value. So hope you understood the difference between them. So that's all about increment and decrement operation. Now let me ask you one thing. How do you change a sign of a number from positive to negative and vice versa? You would probably say multiply the number by -1, right? For example, we are having this variable a with the value 5. Now to change the sign of this variable, we could do this. I will do the operation within this console log statement. Here we have the variable a. Let's multiply that with -1. See, it's working. It's not that unexpected. We all learned that in our elementary schools, right? But in JavaScript, we have a simple way to do it. For that, we could use this unary negation operator. So for that, we just use this minus symbol and then the variable. We switch the sign of this variable. If it is -5, then we have +5. So this unary negation operator comes under arithmetic operators. So this is also a short syntax by removing the multiplication by -1. Now we have unary plus operator. It works like this. For example, we have this variable x, and inside that we have this string 5. This is a string. Inside that we have this number 5. In order to convert this string number to a number type, we just need to do this. Let me assign this operation result into another variable y. Now let's print the type of these two variables x and y. So we could use this operator type of x. Let me duplicate this line for y. See, x is having the data type string because it is assigned with a string containing 5. To convert the value into corresponding number type, we just use this unary plus operator. And that's why we are having the data type number for this y variable here. Now let me print the value of y here. See, it is 5. Now if we pass an invalid number here, say some name Smith, this unary operation results in NaN, meaning not a number, because this string can't be converted to a number. This value NaN is discussed in previous session already. So that's how a unary plus operation works. It will just convert the string into number type. If the string does not contain a valid number, it will return NaN. Here you must understand this. Even these unary plus operator symbol and this unary negation symbols looks exactly opposite. Their operations are not exact opposite, like we have seen in case of addition and subtraction or increment or decrement operation. Here the unary negation operator just switch the sign of the variable, and here unary plus operator convert a string number to number type. So just keep that point in mind. Here the operator symbols used for these operations, plus and minus, are same for addition and subtraction too. But based on the number of operands, JavaScript determines whether it is an addition or unary plus operation. Plus symbol comes between two variables, then it is an addition. If there is no variable before plus operator, then it is unary plus operation. Same in case of subtraction and unary negator. Now before discussing comparison and logical operators, we have to get familiar with JavaScript if statement as a prerequisite, which comes under control flow statements in JavaScript. We will be discussing such control flow statements in a separate section. To better understand comparison and logical operators, if statement would be helpful. So far, the order of execution of our JavaScript code starts from first line to the last line without skipping any line in between. By the way, JavaScript skips these comments which are only for the developer. These comments will be skipped by the JavaScript engine. So the first line will be this one and then this one, then followed by these lines here in the top to bottom order. No line is skipped in between. But in a normal application, that's not the case. Some portion of the code will be executed only if it satisfies a given condition. For that, we use if statement. For example, consider the password comparison during login operation. So we'll be having two variables, actual password, and then we'll be having another variable entered password. So inside this variable, actual password will be retrieving the password that we have saved during the sign up procedure. And inside this entered password variable, we'll be having the password that we have typed in login screen. Before successfully authenticating the user, we must have to check whether these passwords match each other. For that, we could use the if statement like this. So first of all, it starts with this if, and then we have the variable actual password, and we will compare that, and then we could use this operator, equals operator, and then we can provide the embed password. Here it will just compare these two variables whether they are equal or not. If they match each other, then we can provide the code block here. So the statements within this if block will be executed only if these two passwords match each other. So inside this if block here, we can authenticate the user and we can show the user the home page of our application. So that's how an if statement works. And here we have used equals to operator. So all the comparison operator returns Boolean values, either true or false. And that's what an if statement is expecting in between these parentheses here, either true or false. If it is a true, then it will execute the code block here, else it will skip the code block. Like this if statement here, there are various contexts where comparison and logical operators are used. We will see such situations as we move along further in this course. For now, let's look at remaining comparison operators. For that, let's declare two variables, number 1 and number 2. Now here we have the log statement. Inside that we will compare these two variables like this. Number 1, let's compare them with equals operator. See, it is printing the value, Boolean value true, means they are equal. Both of them is having 5, so they are equal. If they are different, it will print the value false. Now here we have the corresponding opposite operator, not equal to. Means we want to check these numbers are not equal or not. It returns true, meaning these two values are not equal. It will return false only if they are equal. See? Now there is one more comparison operator which is more strict in case of data type. In previous comparison operator we have 2 equals simple, here we have 3 equals simple, and this is called as strict equal operator. If we were using normal comparison operator, the type of this operand doesn't matter. Means if we pass string 5 here, still it will return true. See? This operator doesn't care the type of the operator if their values are matching. If we use strict equals simple, it will return false because first of all it will check for the data type and then only it will check for the value. So this strict equal operator returns true only if they are having the same value and data type. For this operator also we have the opposite operator, strict not equal operator. So this operator returns false only if their values and data types are matching. In all other cases, it will return true. Now let's consider another example. We have a variable age and inside that we have this value 16. And we want to check whether this person is an adult or not. For that we have this if statement. We could use this greater than operator. So it looks like this. If the value inside this age variable is greater than 18, then we can decide this person is an adult. Let's print the message adult here. See, it's not printing the message adult here because this age 16 is not greater than 18. If it is 19, it will print the message adult because age 19 is greater than 18. So this comparison return true and hence this code block is executed. Here this comparison operator will return true for numbers greater than 18. If you also want to include 18, you could use this operator greater than or equal to. So this is greater than operator. If we pass 18 here, it won't execute this code block because it is not greater than 18. If you want to include 18 also, you could use this operator greater than or equal to. Now this comparison operator will return true for values 18 and above. Now let's check the reverse. Currently this code block will be executed only if this age is 18 or above. Instead, if you want to execute this code block for a person who is minor, means not an adult. In that case, we want to check whether the age is less than 80. For that, we can use this opposite operator, less than. So this is the less than operator and this is the greater than operator. They are completely opposite. So here we are checking whether this person is not an adult or not. If the age is less than 18, then this code block will be executed. Let me pass 16 here. So 16 is less than 18, so it will return true and hence this code block will be executed. Just the exact reverse condition. Even if you pass 18 here, this won't return true. In order to include 18 here, we have to do the same like we have done before, just add the equals symbol here. So currently it is less than or equal to operator. Instead of providing these comparison operations inside an if statement, you could directly check that with console log statement also. Age is less than 18, so it returns false. If you pass less than or equal to, it will return true. So the comparison operator always returns true or false. Now let's get back to this if statement here. Now before discussing logical operators, I want to talk about truthy and falsy values in JavaScript. As I mentioned before, there are various contexts or situations in JavaScript where a boolean value is expected, like this if statement here. Here we expect a boolean value. But in these situations, we don't have to literally pass a boolean value exactly as it is. Let me explain that with an example here. I will rename this variable as x. Let's remove these comments from here, and I will change this message to something working. Now in place of this if condition here, I will directly pass true, which is a boolean value. So this if statement will always works because this condition is true always. If we pass false here, this code block won't be executing no matter what happens, because we are directly passing the boolean value false here. In order to execute this code block, this condition should be evaluated to true. Now instead of passing false, even if you pass values like 0 or null or undefined or NaN, JavaScript treats these values as false. So they are called as falsy values. So when these values comes in a boolean context, means in a situation where JavaScript expect a boolean value, these values will be treated as falsy values. So they are called as falsy values. So other than boolean value false, 0, whether it is plus 0, minus 0 or 0 in big int or an empty string also is treated as a falsy value. Then null, undefined, NaN, all of them will be treated as false in a boolean context. And all the other values are treated as truthy. Means if you pass 1 here, this code block will be executed because this 1 is treated as truthy. If we pass x here, it is having this value 18, so this code block will be executed. If we pass an empty string here, this won't be executed because empty string is a falsy value. If there is something inside that string, then it will be executed because only empty string is treated as falsy. Suppose this variable is just declared, not initialized yet, then inside this variable we will be having undefined, so that undefined also is treated as falsy inside a boolean context. Not only in this if statement, as I mentioned, there are various contexts or places JavaScript expect boolean values. In those situations, these values are treated as falsy and all other values are treated as truthy. So hope you understood the concept. Now we can discuss logical operators. These operators are used with boolean values. There are 3 logical operators: AND, OR, NOT. This table shows how they operate on a boolean value. So consider 2 variables A and B, both of them having boolean values either true or false. The result of AND operation is here. For now, just understand the summary of this table. We will be looking into it with few examples in a bit. So A and B will be true only if both the operand A and B are true. Then A or B. The result of OR operator will be true if any of the operand is true. And for this logical NOT operator, we only have one operand. It will just switch the value from true to false and false to true. As shown in this picture, operand for these operators won't be literally boolean values. Most of the time, it would be boolean values returned from other expressions involving comparison operators, because comparison operators also return boolean values. Let's check that with an example. We have a number 1, and let's initialize that with 45, and now we want to check whether this number is 2-digit or not. For that, we could use this if statement, Inside that, we will print this message, given number is 2-digit. Now here we have to pass the condition inside this if statement here. For that, we'll be using comparison operator along with logical operators. So we will do this. Number 1 is greater than 9 and number 1 less than 100. So this is the condition for checking given number is 2-digit or not. Here we have the comparison operators greater than and less than. In order to be a 2-digit number, the number should be greater than 9 and less than 100. So that and can be represented with this logical operator and here. So as per the table, this logical operator and will return true only if both of these operand returns true. For example, if we pass 2000 here, this comparison operator will return true, means 200 is greater than 9. So this comparison operation returns true, but it's not less than 100, so this will be having the value false. So this logical operator will return false and hence this code block won't be executed. And same happens if the number is less than 9. This condition is false and this condition is true. Since one of the operand is returning false, the total expression would be false. So that's what we meant by this truth table here. For AND operator, both operator must be true, then only it will return true. So hope you understood this logical AND operator. Now let's discuss logical OR operator. For that, let me declare a variable day of week. Let's initialize that with Monday. And here we want to check whether the given day of week is a working day or not. For that, we could do this. First of all, we will check whether day of week is equal to Saturday or day of week is equal to Sunday. See, here also we are using the comparison operator equal operator. So we will compare whether the value inside this variable is Saturday or Sunday. So those are the conditions here. So inside this code block, I will print the message weekend. So current day is Monday. So both of these conditions are false. So this code block won't be executed. Now let's pass Saturday. Now the code block works because one of the operand for this OR operator is true. That is this side is true. So that's how OR operator works. If any of the operand is true, then the whole result will be true. So that's how logical OR and AND operator works. As you might have already noticed, these logical AND logical OR operators helps to combine different conditions like this. Here we are combining these two conditions, number greater than 9 and number less than 100. Here we are combining these conditions, day of week is Saturday or day of week is Sunday. So that's what logical AND or OR operator does. Now we have one more logical operator which is not. For that, I will be creating a variable is adult. Let's initialize that with true. If you want to execute few lines of code, if the person is not an adult, you could use the comparison operator like this. Is adult is not equal to true, then we can execute the code block here. So here we have the comparison operator not equals. So this code block will be executed. If the value inside this variable is not true, this will be executed. Instead of doing this, we could just use this logical NOT operator like this. Let's log a message here, something working. As you can see from the table, the logical NOT operator just switched the value from true to false and false to true. Here currently it is having true, so this logical NOT operator will result false. So this code won't be working. If we pass false here, this code block will be executing because false with this NOT operator returns true. So this is a shorthand for doing this comparison is adult not equal to true. Instead of doing this, we could just use this logical NOT operator. So that's all about logical operators in JavaScript. Now in this session, we are only going to discuss 3 compound assignment statements. For now, just understand what they are capable of. You will understand them better when you come across in such a requirement. For now, let's discuss how they operate. So we have two variables, a with 1, then b initialized with 0. Now here we have the logical AND assignment. A AND operator, then equals operator, then let's assign that with 2. Now let me log the value of a here. This expression value will be only assigned to this variable a if this a is a truthy value. We have already discussed what is a truthy value before, all the values that are not falsy. Currently this value a is a truthy value, means it is having 1, so it is a truthy value. 1 is a truthy value, so this 2 will be assigned to it. Currently in my editor, you could see this red squiggly line here indicating there is an error. Actually, it's not an error. These 3 compound assignment statements that we are going to discuss are latest addition into JavaScript. This error is showing here because this IDE or its extension is not updated to the latest JavaScript version. So in case of logical AND assignment, the assignment will happen only if the right hand variable is truthy. Let's try the same with the variable b here. Since b is having the value 0, it is falsy, not truthy, so this value 2 will not be assigned to it, and hence you could see the value of b as 0. See, because this b is not truthy, actually it is falsy. Now the exact reverse operation is happening with a logical AND assignment. The assignment will only be working only if this variable is falsy. So currently a is having 1, which is truthy, not falsy, so this assignment won't work. So that's why we are having the same value here. Initially b is 0, b is falsy, so this assignment will be done. So b currently having this value 2. So hope you understood how this logical AND assignment and logical OR assignment works. Now let's talk about logical nullish operator. So for that, I will be declaring another variable c. Okay, I'm not initializing it here. Now let's do the logical nullish assignment here. So we are having 2 question mark, then equals simple, and let's assign the value 3 here. And let me log the variable here, c. Currently you could see the value of c is 3, meaning this assignment is working. For a nullish assignment, the assignment will be happening only if this variable is nullish, meaning the variable is having either undefined or null value. So these values, undefined and null, are commonly known as nullish. So if any of these values there inside the c variable, then this assignment works. If it is having another value, then this assignment won't happen. C is having its initial value 67. These 3 compound assignment operators are used to assign values to an existing variable based on their value, whether it is truthy, falsy or nullish. You will understand it more when it comes to a practical application. So these are the operators that we want to discuss in this session. Here I have completely skipped the binary operators. It will be required only if we are dealing with bitwise operations, which is so rare. If you come across in such a requirement, you could refer the MDN official documentation. I have given the link in video description. Now there are few more operators, 2 unary operators, type of and delete. We have already discussed type of operator in previous session. The delete operator will be discussed in a separate section along with objects. And then we have ternary operator. It will be discussed under conditional operators in a different section. Then in and instance of operators are remaining. We will discuss that in object-oriented programming concept or OOP concept. So that's all about JavaScript operators. Now before concluding this session, we have to discuss operator precedence and associativity. Let's consider these operations here. First of all, we have the variable a1. Into it, I will save the result of this operation 5 plus 3 into 2. Let me print the value of the variable a1 here. You could see the result here, 11. How does it came to this result? Because if you check, first of all, we have 5 plus 3, which is 8, multiplied by 2, so 8 into 2, which is 16. But here we have the result 11. How does that work? In order to understand it, we have to know operator precedence. In order to explain this concept, I will be using this official documentation precedence table here. For any JavaScript operator, it has some precedence, so which is explained in this table here. So the operator with highest precedence will be executed first. Here, the multiplication operator has the highest precedence than this addition. So this multiplication happens first. 3 into 2, which is 6, 6 plus 5, 11. So that's what we are seeing in this result. So this precedence table defines precedence to each operator in JavaScript. So operators is there inside this second column, and then here we have the symbol for that column, and associative will be discussed in a bit. And inside the first column we have the precedence. So the highest precedence is 21 and the lowest precedence is here 1. Okay? In case of this operation here, the multiplication operator has this precedence 15 and the addition is having the precedence 14. So that's why multiplication happens before addition. You don't have to literally by heart these precedence order here. Just having an idea what comes first would be better. If not, you can refer this table later. Even though in this written order, addition comes first before multiplication. As per precedence, multiplication will be happen first and then addition. But if you want to do it in the same order as we have written here, first addition, then multiplication, you can group these operations in a parenthesis like this. So addition will happen first and then this multiplication. We can explain the same with this precedence table here. Grouping with a pair of parentheses has the highest precedence 21. Everything comes after that. So anything grouped within a pair of parentheses will be executed first. Now let's talk about these operations here. A2, 5 plus 3 multiplied by 2 minus 5. Let's print the result here, A2. See, here we have the result 6. So here we have 3 operations: addition, multiplication, subtraction. As per the precedence table, among these 3 operators, multiplication has the highest precedence. You could check that here, 15, and that of this subtraction and addition is 14. So we could do the multiplication first. So 5 plus, so as a result of the multiplication we'll be having 6 here. And now we have remaining 2 operations, addition and subtraction. If you look at the precedence table here, both of them having same precedence 14. Now which is to be executed first here. So that is what explained with this associativity here. For this addition and subtraction, the left to right associativity is mentioned. So the execution will start from left to right. So first of all, 5 plus 3 happens, so which is 11 minus 5, then 11 minus 5 is 6. So that is what we are getting here. Let's talk about another example for associativity. We have a variable a, then variable b, and let's assign the value to it like this: a is equal to b is equal to 3. So here we have 2 operators, both are same, so same precedence. Now here, which assignment works first? You could check that within this precedence table here. Here we have the assignment operators. Here the associativity is mentioned as right to left, so this assignment works first, and that 3 is assigned to this variable a. So both of these variables after this statement will be having the same value 3. With that, we conclude this JavaScript operators section here. You can see the theories along with the code samples that we have discussed in our JavaScript note-taking project, which is a GitHub repository. I have given the link in video description. In next session, we'll be discussing strings in JavaScript. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to this channel, CodAffection. Please like and share this video with your friends and colleagues. See you in next session.